Welcome everyone, my name is Jarya and this video is about the origins of the Ushnisha, Vijaya, Dharani Sutra and the Jade Emperor. Now there was once a deva called Sustita. A deva is a divine being who is living in one of the heavenly realms. So Sustita, he was at a celebration in one of those realms with all the other devas, and during this celebration he had a vision that his time in heaven is coming to an end. And soon he will take birth on earth as an animal for 7 lifetimes. And then he will fall into hell and undergo more suffering. Only after he has fulfilled all his karmic debts, then he will gain birth as a blind human in a poor family. So after hearing this, Sustita rushed over to Lord Sakra to tell him of this terrifying vision. Lord Sakra is the ruler of heaven and the ruler over all the devas and gods. Lord Sakra is also known as the Jade Emperor. Lord Sakra is also known in the Hindu pantheon as Lord Indra. He is usually depicted in a demeaning way as a lustful god who came to earth and had sex with the wife of a powerful sage. He got caught and was cursed to have his body covered with 1,000 vaginas. And later on, the curse of the vaginas was transformed into over 1,000 eyes all over his body. Nevertheless, Lord Indra is a mighty warrior who fought many great battles. In one of these battles, Lord Indra had a very strong demon to fight. So one of the divine trinity, that's Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu, they told Lord Indra to seek the help from a sage on earth who practiced a prayer called the Narayan Kavacham. Now, Narayan is one of the forms of Vishnu, who is the protector in the pantheon, the divine trinity. And they told him that this sage, he recited this particular prayer so many times that the energy from it became a part of his body. Now, a Kavacham is a special ancient prayer for protection, and it invokes divine energy into every part of your body. This is not something you can purchase. This is something you have to recite and cultivate in your life. You can go on Amazon and purchase a Kavacham amulet for around 15 US. But the effectiveness of these things are very questionable. Usually these things are written on a special leaf, not printed, written in Sanskrit on a special leaf called Bhujpatra. And then there are special ingredients used to make the ink, and that's just for starters. And then the method of empowerment and the ceremonies, the astrological times and dates for empower such an amulet is very time consuming. I'm explaining this so you can be aware that people who produce such an amulet will not be selling it on Amazon. So anyways, after Lord Indra came to earth and narrated his story to the sage, this humble man told Lord Indra that he will enter a large fire and give up his body. And Lord Indra was to take the bone from one of his legs to forge a weapon that will destroy this demon. So Lord Indra did as instructed, and he gave the bone to another god known as Vishwakarma. Now he is the divine engineer or the universal architect. And he used this bone to create the thunderbolt weapon that Lord Indra is famous for. Now Vishwakarma is usually depicted holding a piece of paper in his hand, and for the record, that is not ancestor money. It's architect and engineering plans to build things. So there are also many similarities between Zeus, Lord Indra, Thor and Shango, because they all have thunderbolt weapons. Now Zeus was a simple unknown god, and he challenged his father Kronos for control of the universe. Zeus needed an army to fight his father. So he freed all his siblings that his father had imprisoned, and then he went into hell and liberated his ancestors who his father had also imprisoned there. After he did this, his ancestors acknowledged how he was always respectful towards them, and they presented him with his famous thunderbolt weapon. And later on in the history of Zeus, the other gods grew envious of his power and they revolted against him, they tied him up, and at that exact moment, one of his really powerful and scary ancestors, who had 50 heads and 100 hands, they were called the Hecatoncheires. Just one of them came and set Zeus free and beat up all the other gods who tried to kill him. So anyway, the reason I explain that is to demonstrate that Although they do have similarities, and people might think that Zeus and Lord Indra and the Jade Emperor, they are the same, the method by which they received their divine weapon was different. And another important thing in that particular story is that Zeus has ancestors who helped him, and he's a god. He's one of the greatest gods in that pantheon, in that era, and he had ancestors who helped him. So anyway, so getting back to the story of the Deva in heaven called Sustita. After Lord Sakra listened to this story of this frightened Deva, Lord Sakra went to the abode of Lord Buddha, told him the story. Lord Buddha told Lord Sakra that if one hears the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani Sutra just once, all the bad karma from their previous lives that would cause them to fall into hell, that bad karma will be destroyed altogether. They will instead acquire a fine and pure body. Wherever they are reborn, they will clearly remember this sutra. This mantra can eliminate all evil and karmic hindrances and eradicate all suffering. It will assist helpless beings with short lifespans and poor fortune, and give deliverance to beings who commit all kinds of evil deeds. In short, it solves all problems. So after hearing this, Lord Sakra immediately appealed to Lord Buddha to please reveal this sutra for the sake of all sentient beings, humans. So Lord Buddha recited the sutra as follows. Bear with me a minute. So it goes like this. Om Namo Bhagavate Sarvatrilokyar Pradavivastaya Bodhaya Tamatayata Om Brum 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 Sudahaya Sudahaya Visudaya Visudaya Asama Samanta Afabahasa Sparanagati Gahana Svabhava Visudi Abhisinkantumam Sarva Tadagata Sugata Virvakana Abrata Abhisinkara Mahamudra Mantrapadi Ahara Mama Ayurusam Dharani Sudahaya Sudahaya Visudaya Visudaya Gagana Svabhava Visudi Ushnisha Vijaya Parisudi Sahasra Rasmi Sanchodite Sarva Tadagata Avalokani Shatparimita Paripurani Sarva Tadagata Matidasha Bhumi Parastite Sarva Tadagata Hridaya Distana Adistite Mudre Mudre Mahamudre Vajrakaya Samatana Parashudi Sarva Karma Rana Visudi Paratini Varataya Mama Aruvisudi Sarva Tadagata Samaya Distana Adistite Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Vimani Vimani Mahavimani Mati Mati Mahamati Mamati Sumati Tata Bhuta Kuti Parasudi Visbhuta Buddhi Sudi Hi Jaya Jaya Vijaya Vijaya Smara Smara Sfara Sfara Sfaraya Sfaraya Sarva Buddha Adistana Adistite Sudhi Sudhi Buddhi Buddhi Vajre Vajre Mahavajre Suvajre Vajra Garbe Jaya Garbe Vijaya Garbe Vajra Jwala Garbe Vajra Bhave Vajra Sambhave Vajri Vajrini Vajrama Bhavatu Mama Shararam Sarva Sarva Nachaya Kaya Parishudur Bhavatu Me Sara Sarvagati Parishudisha Sarva Tadagadisha Mam Sama Shiva Sayantu Buddhi Buddhi Saraya Saraya Buddhaya Buddhaya Vibodhaya Vibodhaya Mochaya Mochaya Vimochaya Vimochaya Sudahaya Sudahaya Visudaya Visudaya Samanta Rashmi Parishudi Sarva Tadagata Hridaya Distana Adistite Mudre Mudre Mahamudre Mantrapade Swaha. So after I recite this prayer, I dedicate the merit of it to all my ancestors, and I ask for the following. Merciful Mother Namgayalma, I beg you to please dissolve all the karmas, contracts, negative energy, shackles, chains, addictions, and bondages that all my ancestors and spirit guides from my current lineage and all of my past life lineages have accumulated from the beginning of their soul's existence. Grant all my ancestors justice for the wrongs that were done against them while they were alive, so they can have peace and merge into divine source energy. Merciful Mother Namgayalma, please send your power to help all my ancestors quench and dissolve all their unsatisfied desires that keeps them trapped in the cycle of birth and death. Please recall and reintegrate all the fractals of their souls, heal them, make them whole again, activate the inner light within them, and reconnect them back to divine source energy. Please send your power and light to burn and dissolve all their negative thought forms and release all entities that are within them, attached to them, or occasionally harass them, and grant them all liberation or rebirth in a higher realm. Please bless and multiply this offering sufficiently so all my ancestors and spirit guides can always have surplus that they can use to bless and help any of their living descendants with whatever they want. And I invite all my ancestors and spirit guides to feel free to visit and communicate with me for my highest good. Om Brum Swaha, Om Amrita Ayurveda Swaha. Merciful Mother Namgayalma, please grant me these favors. So when you finish, you can offer fruit or flower to Mother Namgayalma and then make a separate offering to your ancestors. So there's something called the heart of the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani, and that is Om Brum Swaha, Om Amrita Ayurveda Swaha. And scripture says if you recite this, it is like reciting the entire sutra. In Tibet, they would recite the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani 1,000 times with 1,000 of the 8 auspicious offerings. The 8 auspicious offering consists of water for drinking, water for bathing, flowers, incense, light, perfume, food, and music. To do this ceremony, the way how it is done in Tibet is a massive undertaking. And apart from just reciting this sutra for yourself and dedicating it to your ancestors, you can print this sutra and present it to aged or sick persons in your family to wear. And the benefits of this sutra says by just wearing these sutras on your body, your karmas will be cleansed and you will be purified and you will get rebirth in a higher realm. Scripture also states that you can put a simple printed copy of this sutra on the body of a dead or deceased person before they are buried or cremated, and it will help protect the body and soul of the person from the dark forces while they transition to higher realms. I learned this sutra from Chris Enlightened, and he learned it from his teacher, Dr. Mitchell Gibson. And this version I recited, I learned from Lama Zopa. It is a little longer than the version I originally learned from Chris Enlightened. Both versions grant the same benefits. It is entirely up to you to choose which one you feel most comfortable using. The raw Sanskrit that I'm using around the DNA strand was given to me as a gift by a highly respected Tibetan monk who was recognized by the Dalai Lama. And for more information about the benefits of this sutra, you can visit Chris Enlightened YouTube channel, The Enlightened Journey, THEE, The Enlightened Journey, or check buddhaweekly.com. Apart from the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani Sutra, I have a special link for a mandala from the Garchan Dharma Institute in Taiwan. And this mandala is called 100 Peaceful and Wrathful Deities of the Gar Monastery Lineage, Liberation Through Wearing. At the bottom of this mandala, instructions on how it should be used by the living to help transform the 5 poisons into the 5 wisdoms. It can also be used to cover the dead before they are buried or cremated. Basic research on Google will show you many varieties of these ancient mandalas and sutras, but be warned, not all of them are recommended to be worn by the living. Some of them are especially designed to put on the body of deceased. So take your time, do proper research. To download a transcript and related art for this video, just click on the link at armyofancestors.com. Best of luck to everyone.